What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to another episode of the Bad Podcast. Brad and Dawain in here with my brother Brad. We're going to talk about something crazy today, man. It's not crazy. It's actually pretty calm, as a matter of fact, Brad. And I'm going to let you tell the people about it.
It's funny that you mentioned calm. Somebody told me the other day, "Hey, can you just tone it down a little bit with the energy, boy?" And I said, "Yeah, you know what? I'll try, but I'm not going to try because I'm not going to try to be something that I'm not. I'm
That's who you are,
I'm
brother.
me. I'm me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Calm, collected, all smiles." All
Do it,
right,
man.
guys. Page 141 in prep rep. People continue to ask, "Hey, what book do you reference?" Folks, it's Prep Rep Repeat. It's my book. That's the one that D has right on the screen right now. Come on, get your copy yesterday.
Copy.
Turn it to page
Matter of fact,
141.
Brad, before you say that, if you would like a free copy, stay to the end of the show. You got to stay all the way to the end, and we're going to tell you how you can win a free copy of this book. All right, Brad, go ahead.
Page 141, persistency. Failure should never be perceived as a negative experience. Instead, it should be embraced as a foundational stepping stone on the journey to personal growth and achievement. Each misstep or setback presents a valuable lesson that, when acknowledged and understood, can significantly enhance your knowledge and development.
I love it, man. Let's get it.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
What it look like, what it be like, what it do. Peekaboo, Brad is back. Came back at the scene. No, man. Welcome back to the Bad Podcast, Brad and Wayne, man. We're super excited. We're coming to you to your favorite podcast, man. Wherever you listen to us, let us know if you're on Apple Music, which we found out is our most used source when it comes to podcasting. There's an option on the Apple Music aspect where you can actually write a review. Please take time, hit that review, give us 5 stars if you love us, and leave a review. That helps us out a bunch. Also on YouTube, you can leave comments, and as promised, I'm going to shout out a couple of people that left comments last week on last week's show. First one goes to Shannon, I'm assuming, Path 254. Said, love the Bad Podcast. I'm near Irmo in Lexington. I know where Lexington is at. I actually have a good friend in Lexington. So we appreciate you checking out the pod.
Hey, that don't
Also,
say Shannon. That says Sharon.
oh, see, I can't read, man. You didn't know that? Sharon, my bad. Hats off, forgive me. I see, I look, and Siri said it's all good. Thanks, Siri. But the next one is E. Wow, but what's this one, Brad? How you say that?
Kazaka.
Okay. Kazaka, I guess, says great message always trying to toggle, I guess, surrounding myself with runners and makes me better runner, which is also good. We talked about surrounding yourself and putting people around you in your circle that will make you better. So shout out to you guys. Sorry for butchering names. Charge it to my head, not my heart. I love you all.
I actually know that last one, D. It's
okay.
Elizabeth. And Elizabeth,
So
I'm sorry if I
something.
butchered your last name. I think it's Kazaka.
Oh,
I think it's a Kazaka, but Elizabeth is her name.
there you go. Shout out to Elizabeth on that one. Good stuff. All right, man. Let's get into this, man.
Yeah. So, in the industry that we're in, D, we have obstacle upon obstacle, adversity, opposition, all those things.
Sure.
And I've been trying to get back into the reading, and it's been a struggle for me as of recent. It's one of those things that I try to embrace. It's just like fitness for some other people. Like reading comes easy to them. Fitness comes easy to me. I've always enjoyed fitness. Reading, however, has always been a struggle for me. So I've been trying to, I mean, like, everybody has their thing, right?
Yeah.
When's the last time you read a book?
So I actually just bought I'm gonna grab it real quick. Hold on.
Yeah. And while he's grabbing his, man, I've been trying to get into the Untethered Soul, but I've also been trying to get into different podcasts that, same concept as reading, just provide value. As he's looking over there, I'm just going to talk to myself here. I do that well, folks. I'm a goaltender in hockey. I have a lot of time in solitude, and I talk to myself.
Yeah, man. So this book right here to put in the screen.
I read that.
Yeah. So
Great book.
it was, I saw an Instagram about it and I commented on it, and actually Jeff was like, "Yo, that's a solid book. You need to, check it out." So I picked it up and I've been trying to dig into it. The irony of this book is it's called, if you couldn't see it, I'm sorry, but it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Boom.
The irony of this book, Brad, is that's actually one of my strengths. Like, you know, influencing people, winning friends. That's an area I thrive in. But I was interested in the book just to see like what areas I can improve in that, or just even to get the confirmation of some of the things that I do naturally, to kind of see it on that level. But yeah. So that's what I've been trying. And you notice it
Yeah,
ain't a lot of
it looks
ain't a
new.
lot of folded pages, brother.
Listen, the thing is similar to fitness. You just got to start with that first page and read a little bit, and you're going to find with this book, D, because I know you well. You're going to find with this book that a lot of the things that preaches, you're going to be like, isn't this just normal? Um,
Mm,
and for me, when I read that book, like I would go to my wife and I would say, "Hey, Adrian, I just learned this concept." She goes, "You already do that." Oh,
mhm. I,
oh,
I
okay.
kind of got that. I kind of got that feeling, man. For
Hmm.
real,
Hmm.
for real, for real.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing the battle I have with reading, and I seen this also on the source, where I got this from, is scrolling is so much easier. Like it is so much easier to scroll than it is to get quiet, move to the side,
Hmm.
and read. You can. I mean, I ain't even gonna get into my shortcoming. I've already embarrassed myself enough already on this.
No, no, and it is easier to scroll, just like it's easier. I mean, I'm just going to use scrolling as an example across the board.
Sure.
How many people go to the gym and they find themselves a bench press, and all of a sudden they're doing this,
Yep.
and they're just one Instagram scroll to the next, to Facebook, to the messenger, to the email, to their all those things, and they just continue to scroll and they never pick up the dumbbells. How many
Mhm.
people are doing that? And that's sort of where I wanted to go this morning, right? Everybody's looking for their greatness. Everybody's looking for their great comeback, right? And then we're imprisoning ourselves by scrolling and by making excuses. And I want to talk about this ancient Greek philosophy called stoicism. And what stoicism is essentially is intentionally seeking out obstacles. We intentionally seek out
Mm.
the hard thing because when we seek out the hard thing, and I've used this analogy before, you get to the fork in the road and you look left and it's a crumbled road, dark skies. You look to the right, it's all sunshine and rainbows with a yellow brick road. Which way are
Mhm.
we naturally going to go? Yellow brick road all the way, sunshine rainbows all the way. And we don't
Mhm.
want to go down the other way because it looks scary, right? And my
Mhm.
my wife dropped a nugget on me yesterday, and I'm big on the if you fear it, chase it, right? That's my mantra for
Mhm.
2025. And she said something along the lines of, if you don't find value in something, you're going to go the opposite direction of that thing. And I was like, that's the exact same
Mm.
concept as if you fear it, chase it. Is if you find value in something, you
Right.
can't make excuses to go towards that thing. You got to find reason. You got to find purpose with your life, because excuses are plentiful. We know this, they're everywhere. If you want to find an excuse, you don't have to look too hard. You can sit on your couch and you will find
That's
an
true.
excuse. So stoicism is essentially going out there and finding difficulty, opposition, roadblocks, and figuring out ways to have the resilience and having the control to persevere through those things. And I'm going to use Thomas Edison as a
Mhm.
prime example. The guy fell short 10,000 times, and when asked, hey, how did it feel to fail 10,000 times? He said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I figured out 9,999 ways to not make a light bulb, or something along the, I probably butchered
Right.
that quote, but something along those
Good
lines.
job.
You figure out way, yeah, right. We're butchering it all across the board today, which
Butcher,
is
baby. We can call this the hack job.
hack job. Maybe that's the hashtag for the day. Hack job. Yeah, but it's a hard thing to break free. And the image that I wanted to paint this morning was, a lot of us imprison ourselves because every excuse that we make is essentially establishing one titanium bar, right? And you make an
Mm.
excuse, no big deal, because if it's just one bar, if it's one pole in the ground from top to bottom, you can go around it. But what happens
Mhm.
is that one excuse, okay, I don't feel like working out this morning. I'd rather hit the snooze button. I go to work and
Mhm.
somebody brings bonbons into the office. I'll just have one. I didn't work out this morning. Okay. An excuse to settle, right? Another
Mhm.
bar. And then later, I'm gonna come home and I'm pop a couple of cold ones. Okay. Another excuse to settle, another bar, and
Mhm.
all of a sudden you start to have this cage around you. And once
Mm.
that cage is established, you have a sense of containment, and you have a sense of fear that you can't escape that prison. But
Mhm.
how do you disintegrate each bar? Find a way to persevere. Find the obstacles.
Mm.
Live by this great Greek philosophy, stoicism.
Mm. Nah, that's good, man, because, the It I don't know, for whatever reason, when you mention, like, when you come home and you get a cold one, like, it's almost like it becomes a societal thing, like, because I remember I thought that's what you're supposed to do. You work hard,
Mm.
you come home, you get a cold one or you get some whiskey. What I thought
Yep.
that was the American dream. Like, I come home and I do this thing, man, and it's so crazy that when it whenever you think that's the norm and you adopt it, and then you realize that it's not benefiting you in the long run, like
Mhm.
though, you always you're not moving forward. You're actually hurting your body if you do it too often.
Mhm.
Not saying you can't enjoy yourself, definitely do that, but every day, like you mentioned, it's those bar when you put those bars up every day, it continue to be a roadblock, man. But I just think about just the cultural aspect
Mhm.
of, just I worked a hard day. This is what I deserve. I
Mhm.
deserve this couch. I deserve this beer. I deserve these chips because I worked hard, instead of, I work hard. I'm tired, but man, I didn't get my workout in. Let me turn on this circuit. Let me jump on the bike real quick. Let me get on the treadmill and watch my favorite show. It's just a mindset change, man. Whenever, you want something more than, the norm, I
Mhm.
guess.
Yeah, 100. And I think the societal aspect of what you're talking about is like spot on because, I've mentioned it and I talk about it all the time in my book. When I was in my 20s and even early 30s, like that was the norm. And I
Mhm.
valued that. But what you have to do sometimes is take a
Mhm.
step back and take a look at the different buckets of things that you value, and then see out of those buckets what offers something in return that's valuable. And if something isn't providing something in value in return, that's probably not something you should spend time and effort in pursuing that bucket. In talking about coming home and popping the feet up and having a couple cold ones, bag of chips, all the things, and watching Seinfeld. Like you sit there and you look at that bucket. What is Seinfeld giving you in return? Maybe a laugh. What's that can
Yeah,
of Coors Light giving you? Immediate satisfaction, and the bubbles and all
yeah,
the
in the
bubbly and
moment.
in the moment. And we have to take a step back and understand that just because something feels good in the moment doesn't mean it's a value to you. And in a society where shortcuts are the norm, because shortcuts are
Mhm.
tempting, cheating is tempting, and
Mhm.
that's sort of like the norm now in our society. And as you look at these things, they don't get you what you truly desire and truly want in your life.
So true, man, so true. So before we, take the next step, we're gonna hit this commercial break real quick.
At E2M Kitchen, we bring chef created, certified gluten free meals straight to your door. Just choose your meals, get them delivered, and enjoy. E2M Kitchen, delicious, hassle free meals made for you. Order now at e2mkitchen.com.
All right, we're back,
Let's
man. E2M
go.
Kitchen. Make sure you guys get your E2M Kitchen on, man. That's when you come home from a long day, that's what you need to do, man.
Mm,
You don't feel like cooking,
mm.
drop one of them bad boys in the skillet and get it going, man.
What's
So,
your
but
favorite?
no, Brad, it's real good, man.
What's your
My
favorite?
favorite,
Yeah.
I'm not picky, Brad. Like, I'm
Mm.
not a connoisseur. Like, I'm a what's in front of me kind of guy, you know? And, my wife, she loves the shrimp.
Mm.
And so we also always make sure we get one of the shrimps. But I just kind of randomly pick when it's my week to pick, which is actually I need to pick my meals. But I just kind of randomly pick, man. I guess I enjoy the chimichurri steak. That's kind of been a staple for a while. And uh I like a couple of the Southwest bowls type things they
Mhm.
had. I don't know, man. What about you, Brad? You must have one if you ask me what's mine.
Oh, you already know. Mine's the ground turkey, man. I've been hitting that ground turkey lately. Ground turkey
Okay.
and ground chicken. I don't know. There's a
Oh, you talking
spice
about the
in
bulk
there.
meals?
The what? No, not
The
bulk.
bulk?
No,
You
no, no.
Oh,
The
okay.
it's like a spicy, maybe spicy ginger. I can't think of it, but
Okay.
it's
Got a
easily
nice
my
kick
favorite.
to it.
Ooh, yeah. I throw a little bit of salt in there, and
Okay,
it is spot on.
look, I'm gonna have to add that like as soon as we get off here.
Yeah, spot on,
'Cause it's
man.
time for me to pick, man.
Yeah, I picked mine late last night. Yeah.
Ah,
Um,
yes, sir.
yeah. You mentioned something about living the dream. You
Mhm.
live in the dream. And I worked with this individual many years ago. And every time I'd say, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm living the
I
dream.
remember that.
I'm
Yeah.
living the dream. And I always found that funny because, and I think I've mentioned this before, like, do you ever truly reach the dream? Do you ever
Mm.
truly, get to that point in your life? Now, I'm a firm believer, content but not satisfied. You'll reach a
Yeah.
level in your life, but is that truly the dream? Because once you reach this level, isn't it like the uncommon will to say, I've gone this far, Forrest Gump style. I've gone this
Mhm.
far. Why not keep going? What can I do next?
Mhm.
You were on the grandest stage for a physique show, and now you're asking,
Mhm.
what can I do next? I've done a half
Mhm.
marathon. I've done a full marathon. I tried an Ironman. What is next? And it's not even to say that a bigger stage or a longer distance can be that next. Maybe it's taking a step back. I mean, you're doing it right now. You're understanding that you need to get some more size to get to that next level, and that's what you're doing right now. So
Mhm.
it's not always getting on the stage. It's not always crossing that further finish line or
Right.
that greater distance. It's not always that thicker book. It's what's providing longevity value in the long game. Books, for example. I've read some really thick books, but I've dialed it back and got some thin ones, and they're providing just as much value as those thick boys. And that's something like
Yeah, man.
living the dream is just a funny thing to me. A funny thing to me.
Kinda like maintenance, right? Like that's kind of the maintenance thing.
Precisely.
I gripe.
Precisely. Precisely.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Brad told y'all last time what are some of the slimmer books he been reading, Dr. Seuss and, all of them.
Those are the
Ain't nothing
hardest
wrong
books
with that
out
though.
there, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they got some tough words in them.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's so interesting because, like you said, even though you don't necessarily chase a big event, chasing just improvement, just taking that time to improve in different levels. When we first started, Brad got on, he's talking about how he's been doing squats, trying to work on his legs and that's something that's an improvement thing. Like that's not, he's not doing that to become a classic bodybuilder. He don't want to have the big old quads, whatever, but he's doing that to improve.
Mhm.
And that's a part of the pursuit, as far, I guess Brad has an issue with you living the dream because you need to be doing your thing,
Precisely.
you need to be chasing something, So I definitely understand that for sure.
And it's not chasing finish lines, and I think that's where a lot of people get mixed up is they feel as if
Mm,
I have to accomplish something with this workout. Not necessarily,
mhm,
and it's all a mindset too, and so when you think about goals and milestones and mile markers and all those things, so many people think that they're gonna reach a mile marker today. They're gonna reach a milestone today. They're gonna reach a goal. They have to accomplish something. Not necessarily.
mhm.
And let me actually retract that because you are
Okay.
accomplishing something. It's not physical, it
Mm,
can't be seen, but it's the mental toughness, it's the discipline, and we talk about this all the time. Every time you show up for a workout, you're not necessarily going to cross that milestone, but you are working on that discipline. You are working on your your,
right.
your skill of perseverance and persistence. And those are the things that are going to keep you leveling up, but far
Mhm.
too many people want to see the mirror shift and in the scale shift, and they want to see some physical evidence that I'm moving the bar.
Yeah, and that just helps with your psyche, I mean, I understand that aspect of it because I know, especially with weight loss, that's what make E2M so successful was, we were able to show people how to move the bar quickly, and that give them a level of commitment to keep going. But once you get past that, because y'all, I say it a lot on this podcast, and even when I do lives in a group, you can lose weight fast. You can't build muscle fast. Like that is a long game, and it's grueling, because you're gonna put in, with weight loss a lot of times, you can go really hard, man. You can get on the stair stepper, you can do the hour and a half cardio, you can cut back on whatever, and the needle will move. But as far as like muscle strength building and growing muscles, you can push, you can pull, you can do all the things with all the grit and might, and that needle won't move until it's ready. And it's funny because the really crazy thing about it is you're the last one to know that needle moved. That right there, man. That was it. Whenever I realized that, because you see, like we talk about all the time, you see yourself all the time, but somebody said, "Oh, but get some size." You're like, "Oh, yeah, I am. You're right." You start, because you're the last one to know, man. And so you can't rely on those the what you see on the everyday to just be the barometer. Is like, okay, I'm making progress. Sometimes it's going to take an outside source, somebody to say, "Hey, I see you. I see you doing it."
Yeah, 100%. I always reference family reunions. You look in the mirror every single day, and we've talked about this. The growth and self-development is so slow, and it's discouraging, frustrating. But when you go to that family reunion and auntie, she's like, "Hey, what you been doing?" What are you talking about? I ain't been doing anything different. And they notice before you notice. You're always the last one to notice. But you gotta stay consistent in what you do. If you value that thing, and I think that's the secret sauce, or that's the secret component, is finding value in fitness, finding value in health and wellness, finding value in reading books and listening to podcasts. I've been referencing the Bad Podcast a lot lately because we're literally giving out free content. And the content that we give here, people are paying money to hear some of the same content that we're delivering. And we're delivering nuggets. I mean, we talked about stoicism today. We've talked about Kaizen. We've talked about all sorts of philosophies across the globe. And we're dropping free nuggets here. I referenced this, or I talked about this the other day, D. I don't know if I've even mentioned this to too many people, but I was offered a $10,000 gig about 2 months ago in a college down in Pennsylvania, $10,000, and I told them no. I told them no, and the reason that I told them no is because, first and foremost, I can't accept $10,000 for something I've never ever done. I can't accept it. Like I rolled in there and I have my hands tied. I've never done anything like that, right? They want this production, and they want a PowerPoint and all these things, and I'm like, I just talk. I talk on a screen. I don't do the whole full blown thing. But and it's funny because $10,000 from a college, I'm doing the same thing as I would be doing at that college right here. You and I are doing it, providing free content for several people. But just to sit down and understand, this podcast is providing a lot of value.
For sure. I know your point here. So I'm gonna say this publicly. I'm gonna say this publicly, brother. I was a boy, man. Like I would have had you straight, dog.
PowerPoint
like,
and all.
Man, listen, 10%, brother. That's all I had.
Listen, and here's the thing. I mean, these opportunities, not a $10,000 gig. I've only got one of those, or an opportunity to do that. But I get a shout out every once in a while. Hey, will you come and speak to this organization or this school or this or that? And I do some of those things because I do want to build up the confidence to get on a stage. Like, I have zero problem talking to people, no problem. But again, if you're being offered $10,000 or even $500, like there's no only in that. if you're being offered something like that, like you go into that thing and you got to be on your A game, because if somebody's there and they have the means to getting you on a higher stage and they see you kind of just mediocre versus like, hey, this guy put on a production, that opens doors. And the same thing can be applied to fitness. Like when you go into the gym, right? We talk about zombie mode, right? And you're there and you're just kind of moping around from one set to the next and to the other machine. And what you're showing yourself, your spirit and your being, is that you don't belong. But if you go there with some enthusiasm and you wake up each day with some excitement and you go into the gym and you're there with that alacrity, boy, that zest for life, you convince your body, you convince your being, you convince your spirit that, hey, I belong here. This is where I need to be. And you level up every day.
Absolutely. Yeah, next time, holler at me, man. I'm just saying.
Done and done.
We will have you streezy.
I'll reach out to her again. I'll reach out to her.
We'll have you straight, boy. They be like Eric Thomas Hoop. Like
if I could ever share the stage with ET, that'd be a dream come true, my friend.
It starts with $10,000 gigs, brother. I'm just going to
and just to speak to ET, dude. So I obviously listen to his podcast, read all of his stuff and everything. And so he was talking about in the early days, he would go to a high school and he would beg them, hey, just let me speak. And everybody would be like, yeah, we don't really know you. We don't know. No, thanks. And so his first gig, it was a high school up in Michigan somewhere, and they took the money out of the vending machine and paid him with the money out of the vending machine. It was like $100 or something like that for him and his team, $100. Now he's getting paid $200,000 for an hour on the stage, $200,000 an hour. And I think a lot of people see ET making $200,000 an hour and they want that, right? They want that. Did I do something wrong?
No, that's on me. Go ahead.
They want that. And this is fitness, guys. This is self-development right here. Too many people want the 200,000, but they're not willing to do the free show. They're not willing to do the $200 show. We want that 200,000. You got to start with the vending machine. You got to start with that basic foundation. Look for those obstacles. All right. Stoicism, folks. Look for the obstacles. Be intentional with everything that you do. And the $200,000 gigs, they will come.
There you go, man.
Boom.
All right. So if you stuck all the way to the end, we're going to let you know how you can get a free copy of Prep, Rip, Repeat by our brother Brad. We're going to throw up. Look, he has it right here. One of those is your copy right there. So if you use hashtag this week after this podcast drop on Monday, use hashtag bad podcast PRR. We're going to randomly select one person. You can post it inside the E2M group. You can post it on your stories, wherever you post it. We're just going to make sure you do something to get our attention, and we'll pick one person to send a free copy of that book. So thank you guys for sticking around to the end. Brad, man, what we're going to close this thing out with, brother?
Listen, I've mentioned this a couple of times, but Step Jam, April 12th. I got some hardware. Come on now, hardware. This is a motivational message, guys. It says prep, rep, repeat. It says believe in yourself. It says confident. It says never give up. It says I am strong. It all starts with a dream, guys. If you want to be great at anything, it starts with a dream. All right. And our second medal, it says believer. So dreamer, you got to be a dreamer. And then you got to believe in yourself. And you know what the third one says? It says achiever. Because to be an achiever, you got to be a dreamer. To be an achiever, you got to be a believer, and you got to be a dreamer. Dream, believe, achieve. Let's get it.
I love it, man. Till next time, y'all. We out of here.